is called Your Grammar is Basic Compared to Black English.
That's the one.
Oh, this is gonna piss me off.
Can you? Just the close-up shot right there is like, oh man, dude, you already pissed us off. Here, I'll give you the intro and we'll skip around a little bit.
Black English, the language variety indigenous to the United States, developed by Black people who were the descendants of formerly enslaved Africans. That's more complex and more sophisticated than the academic English that we all learned in the classroom. Stick with me on this one. I recently gave a keynote speech at the American Association of Electronic Reporters and Transcribers, where I talked about accents and non-standard dialects and all the challenges that those pose for transcription, and especially for human transcriptionists who want to be better than AI. And I made that claim. And it seemed to surprise people. And I get it. You're probably still on, wait, is he talking about Ebonics? And sort of, I'll explain that too. But whatever you call it, a lot of people have the stereotype that it's lazy, that it's bad English, and that it flouts or completely disregards the entire concept of grammar. And that's wrong. That could not be further from the truth, which is a whole lot weirder than you probably know. So stick around and I'll explain why exactly I say Black English, African American language, Ebonics, is more grammatically complex than you might think, and more sophisticated than it's given credit for. I'm Dr. Taylor Jones, and I'm finna blow your mind.
Did you see that? He said finna.
Dr. Joe, what?
What's funny is he said finna. And I'll add this. Teray Reed, I showed this to Teray Reed. I said, Teray, watch this and tell me if I'm wrong for being very angry. And Teray pointed out finna. And he goes, you know, he grew up in the South, but also in the Northeast. And Pascal also grew up in the East Coast. You guys don't really say finna.
No.
At all. This asshole is in New York, apparently. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that very arrogant, I thought that was so arrogant, was, you know, again, kind of one of those shout outs to this amount of hubris.
I'm Dr. Taylor Jones, and this is Language Jones. Probably know as Ebonics and what linguists call African American English or African American language, or sometimes Black English, the Black ones anyway, is way more grammatically complex and subtle and nuanced and, yes, sophisticated than people think. But that's not the reputation it has. So first, why the reputation? And then I'll tell you all about the more complex grammar, which is really cool. Before I continue, I just want to add that I'm working on a book right now about how Black English has shaped all of American English, but its impact is in many ways invisible or even actively erased. If you're interested in that book, and you should be, please leave me a comment saying so, maybe even ask me what you wish you knew about it. That way, publishers and agents can see how much interest there actually is, and I'm more likely to get it to market. First things first, teeny tiny history lesson. America has a complicated history with race. That's an understatement. Anybody watching this probably knows that what is now the US had hundreds of years of chattel slavery in which Africans and later their descendants were enslaved in the American South. And yes, other groups were enslaved and have been throughout history, but in the US, the Irish ran away and then claimed they weren't Irish and nobody could tell. And the indigenous people ran away and then got really good at staying away because they already knew the terrain better. They were here first. Slavers very quickly settled on bringing Africans who, if they even survived the trip, were in a foreign land, stood out wherever they went, and were thrown in with people who didn't speak the same languages. And that's kind of an important part here. You have lots of people who are native speakers of Bantu languages, but who are forced to communicate using either the plantation Creole or some form of English. Now's not the time to go into all the detail about the linguistic arguments about the genesis of African American English, and in fact, we can never really know because we have insufficient and wildly unreliable records. It's a hugely contentious issue in linguistics. And that unreliability of records is kind of the point. The US has a mainstream culture that stereotypes Black people as lazy and unintelligent, and it comes in large part out of our history of slavery and Jim Crow. Unintelligent is a justification for...
Did you see what Nuri Yank wrote?
What?
Hey, fucktard, keep my people's name out of your fucking mouth. Because he's Irish.
forcing people to do manual labor they don't want to do, and is one way of looking at their resisting literal slavery. You go pick tobacco in Maryland in June and get back to me about how enthusiastic you are about doing that all day, every day. Until after the Civil War, Black Americans were denied even basic education, albeit with some exceptions, and it wasn't until the middle of the 20th century that they were guaranteed equal and not separate access to education, at least on paper. But also, we tend to overstate the importance of formal education and academic norms around the right way to speak. Any language you could name, including the fancy educated ones like Latin, were developed by illiterate people. Literally, since language change is driven by kids. So, over the last 400 years, Black Americans have developed a distinct language variety. Not all Black Americans, obviously, and in fact, more than one variety. Gullah and Black English are not the same. Ebonics actually historically referred to all the different language varieties that came out of the New World contact between West African languages and European colonial languages. So technically, Brazilian Portuguese, Haitian Creole, and Gullah are all Ebonics too. But the point is that it is its own distinct language variety. Maybe a dialect of English, maybe a decreolized Creole. As I've said in other videos, it has rules. This means that it's not just breaking the rules of classroom English. It's a language variety with highly regular, highly systematic rules. The rules are just different from classroom English. And that's where we get to my claim that it's more complicated and sophisticated. I'm not saying the dudes on the corner outside in Harlem where I live hanging out and smoking are necessarily more sophisticated by our cultural standards than the Ivy League professors teaching down the street at Columbia in their tweed or whatever. But I am absolutely saying that their language use is grammatically more sophisticated than the English being taught to those Ivy League legacy students in their first year writing classes. So hear me out. A lot of you like my channel for language learning and linguistics content about other languages. Many know that I'm big on...
This is what I find so interesting, because when you hear people talk, especially educators, talk about what students can't do, one of those things is communicate. And this person is saying, oh no, students can communicate better than anyone else, especially these Black ones. They have this very advanced way. They're like bats. These Negroes, they have this niggerized sonar that they use to communicate that's so next level. Us white people can't hear it. You need to have nigger ears. And if you're partially niggerized, your half nigger ears can't hear this real nigger talk that they have, because it's sonar what they're using to communicate. Hence why I say finna, and I live in New York where no one is saying that.
Nigger ears.
Like bats.
He's blaming us for COVID.
Watch this guy be like a patron to the show and fucking send me this, 8-page dissertation on why I'm an asshole.
I'm thinking about how languages treat tense, aspect, and mood. If you haven't watched my videos about these, all you really need to know is that we abuse the word tense in English to refer to all three. To grossly oversimplify, tense actually refers to whether some shape of the verb indicates when something happens. Aspect indicates whether it's thought of as ongoing or completed, and mood refers to something that indicates in some way how the speaker feels about what they're talking about. Some languages have only tense or only aspect. So for instance, Mandarin Chinese has aspect but not tense. Biblical Hebrew had aspect and not tense. Modern Hebrew has tense and aspect is a bit iffy. In English, we have modal verbs like you should do this or you must do that, but other languages can modify basically anything. So you have things like the subjunctive that indicates doubt about the proposition. It also does other stuff that's more structural because languages are messy. So the point here is when I say Black English is more complicated and sophisticated, what I mean is that the grammatical of tense, aspect, in Black English makes more and more nuanced distinctions. Where it gets confusing is that it does so with basically the same words, just differently. Dr. Arthur Spears calls these camouflage constructions. So let me give some examples. The most famous in linguistics is what is sometimes called habitual be. I actually don't really like the name and prefer the less used invariant be because it has more functions than marking habituality, but that is a main one. So if I say it be that way, that doesn't mean the same thing as it.
Who the fuck says that?
It be that way.
It'd be that. It'd be
No,
like
really,
that.
who says that?
Like that. It'd be
When
like
you're
that.
in your Harlem neighborhood, sir, what 1974 white guy wrote the black guy's lines says that? Like, I want to know.
Maybe it bees that way.
It bees like that? I mean, really, who talks like that for real?
The same
That's
person.
bad.
The same people finna understand what's going to be done.
Like this is also one of those things where it's like, dude, you understand that what you're doing is regurgitating white people's understanding of black language from the 70s as some sort of language gospel. And these words change over time because you're literally talking about slang. Slang is not static. Oh,
Is that way. When you add the word sometimes, both end up meaning the same thing, but it be that way on its own has built in that it is that way sometimes and not necessarily right now. These can lead to miscommunications where people who don't speak Black English think that they understand what's being said, but they're missing some of the nuance.
I'm not gonna lie. If some black person just came up to me randomly, like, "Hey, it be that way," I'd be like, "What is what? I don't know what way it be." Like if I'm like putting gas in my car at a truck stop in Bakersfield, and some random black guy's like, "Hey man, gas, it be that way." I'd be like, mm-hmm. I would nod my head like I do when Mexicans talk really fast at me. I'm like, mm-hmm.
Biden's America.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it'd be that way.
Mm-hmm. Rock'em sock'em. Like all I could do is respond back like Pootie Tay, Sadate. Like I don't know what. There's black people watching right now. Dr. Claw, DC Joe Black has black in his name. We're gonna assume it's a black person named Joe. It could just be a white guy named Joe. I don't know, but for all intents and purposes, Joe today, you're my chocolatey brother. If someone walked up to you randomly and said, "Pascal Robert, it be like that," what would you say, Pascal?
Doom, 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 we be the chocolate.
So Pascal, they said to Pascal, so,
We be trapped.
and Ladybug Mecca just fucking appears. She just rises from the ashes.
We beat to rap. What he beat to rap. It's like that. It's cool like that. Like that.
And instead of recognizing that, they usually think that the Black English speaker is just using bad grammar. So if I say, I'm going to call him at work, and my friend says, nah, he don't be at work, I might understand.
Why isn't he at work?
For real, I'm concerned now.
I'm gonna call Johnny at work. Nah, he don't be at work. Where does Johnny be? I'm trying to. Why ain't the nigga at work? Did he lose his job?
He don't be at work because he's hanging out with Cardi B.
He's hanging. He's doing. Hey, Pascal. He don't be at work. Why? That's why we can't get ahead as people. If he had his ass at work,
For real.
then maybe he can fucking make sure his dumbass kid does his homework.
He don't be at work.
Put an end to
That's wild.
He don't be at work. Why are you hanging out with Johnny the Snitch?
He got too many kids to not be at work.
Basically. And he's so sure. Like, look at me. Just effortlessly nigger speak. I think I'm getting erect every time I do it. You don't be at work.
And the social communicative function of that speech act and choose not to call him. But I might miss the nuance. He isn't usually at work, so it's probably not a good bet. But
Why isn't he usually at work?
This is my question.
Does this nigga just have a part-time job? You know what most people say? And I've been around some niggas that you need subtitles.
Yes.
I've been around cats like usually white people, but I've been around people like that, and usually this is what they say: "Oh no, he don't work on Tuesdays."
There you
That's what most people say. Niggas don't speak in riddles.
go.
What kind of
Just trying to
Cheshire
cross the
cat?
bridge, man. Just trying to cross. I don't need these riddles. Man.
Kushlik says, "This is the weirdest plat member you've ever had on." He says, "I'm willing to bet his thesis advisor is black." Oh, choc, as Pascal says, crispy.
Yeah.
Like seriously, just say he doesn't work on Tuesday. That's what all niggas. Oh, he don't be at work. You can say he don't be at work on Tuesdays. That's a normal thing people say.
Yeah.
But you know what most people say? Oh, he don't work Tuesdays.
That's true.
Thank you. I understood it and everything. Fuck is wrong with you, sir? These are some really horrible ways to understand your colored neighbors. This is why niggas rob you in your Harlem ass neighborhood. Rob, this old racist ass white man trying to it be like that at me one more time and kick him in his white nuts.
My friend is not asserting that they know he isn't at work right now. In fact, it could be the case that he don't usually be at work, but in an unforeseen turn of events, he there right now. Did you notice?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Now he just trying to piss me off.
Right? Like, if the nigga's not there, he's not there. Who talks like this?
He's there right now. What the hell, man?
Fuck is wrong with you? Hey, is Tucson around? Nah, she don't be at work. I thought she came into the office Monday through Friday. Nah, she be at work. Sadate. Like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about?
Dude.
This is why we can't get along as a people.
Yeah.
This is why we can't have racial harmony. And I blame the niggas that teach white people this shit. I blame all the white people like, I'm an ally. I don't really need you as an ally. Can you find me an ally? But seriously, this guy sucks.
I want to hear him say more things.
Okay. Because right now his conversation about this work shit is really pissing me the fuck off.
It's wild.
Because who the fuck, you know what? If this is what you think black people talk like, there's a reason why you're trying to be the interpreter, because you're either you're retarded or you are talking to a severe. If you're at the bottom of the school in the basement, like, I don't understand your conversation, or someone is just fucking with you.
Oh man.
Do you remember that episode of The Office when they were trying to teach Michael slang and they were just making up words?
He's gonna write your next book about anti-racism.
Oh my God. He's not done.
Notice, by the way, that you can optionally delete the present indicative form of to be, just like in Hebrew, Russian, Arabic, Mandarin, and a ton of other languages. Habitual be isn't just about the habits, but can also be about generic states. Dr. Lisa Green calls the trickier abstract form bicycle sentences, after an example from a famous interview where the speaker said something along the lines of, some of them be big and some of them be small. This doesn't mean that each bicycle is usually big but sometimes small, like the magic school bus. And invariant be is just the tip of the iceberg. There's stressed been, which indicates remote perfect. You know how saying, I have been in English means it started in the past and it's relevant to the present, especially in like British English? Remote been usually indicates completion in the distant past and relevance to the present. So if I say, I've been told you that, it doesn't mean I've been telling you that. It means I told you that a long time ago.
It actually means I've been telling you that. It literally means that.
If
If I say that, that means I've been telling you that. You're a fucking liar and I want to fight you now, sir. That's literally what that means.
I've been told you that though.
You have hundreds of thousands of views and followers, and you are lying to these people by showing pictures of niggas that I would probably fight to.
Oh my God.
If I say I've been told you that, I probably have been telling you that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Pascal, am I lying?
Cool like that. Doom, 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 doom.
That by the way, that's Pascal's version of woo-saw.
He missed the nuance there.
This dude is a fucking monkey fucker.
Ago, dummy. Linguists did an informal study of white school teachers in Harlem in the 1970s and asked teachers, if your student says they been did their homework, is it completed or are they still working on it? And the majority of the teachers got it wrong. Using the dialect kids.
That is where that example is problematic, because there should be a follow-up. If you're asking teachers why they get things like that wrong, that understanding, that comes from somewhere. Good teachers ask people that get the wrong answer how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I learned this lesson in touring internationally a long time ago about communication. Sometimes people say the phrase wrong, the grammar's wrong, but I understand what they're saying. And I don't correct them because I understand what they're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of trying to learn a language. I say things wrong sometimes, but people, decent people, understand what I'm trying to say, or they'll help me through it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are a teacher and you're dealing with kids, let's say, that aren't turning in their homework assignments. Where's your homework, Toussaint? I've been done that. Okay, well, where the fuck is it?
It'd be at work sometimes.
It don't be at work. If teachers are interacting with students and the students are saying they did something, but it's not done, they don't have the finished assignment, I probably don't understand what the fuck you're trying to get me to understand either. Because now you're saying, if the teacher says, where's your homework? I've been done that. Why the fuck would someone say that unless they didn't do it?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense as a response.
This is why all of this shit is academic wankery.
I love every example that he gives because it's wrong. And I
It's
can't wait for the
wankery.
next one.
It's all wankery. I hated the fact those motherfuckers said, oh, in Oakland, when they started using Ebonics, because remember, this is also used at a very primary level of schooling. When they started using it, the kids did better and da-da-da-da-da. Well, were they communicating differently finally? Because that's the big problem here. It's not that I need a translator. It's that there's something being lost in the communication. If I can get around in a country where I don't speak the language and I have a very elementary understanding of it, I kind of understand communication. I think these teachers, for the most part, right, probably understand. Maybe some of them don't. Maybe some of them are racist pieces of shit.
Right.
I'm sure that happens. I feel very confident that happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that if you're dealing with these people on a daily basis, that exchange doesn't make sense to me. Where's your homework? I've been done that. Well, then fucking give it to me. I didn't ask you what you did. I didn't fucking ask you what you ate. I asked for the fucking homework. Either you have it or you don't.
Exactly.
This is a stupid ass back and forth. The teachers got it wrong every time. Could it be because maybe they dealt with shitty kids? That's a reality. But no, Dr. Jerkoff is going to tell you why fucking I've been done that is the proper response to where's your homework.
Speak at home to teach them literacy and then use using the ability to read and write to teach them academic English was actually the proposal that kicked off the Oakland Ebonics controversy. Black English also has many more modal verbs than classroom English, although many of you might be familiar with them from social media or from them slowly being adopted into the mainstream. There's the future modal finna, originally from the very southern fixing oneself to do something. In the South, everybody uses it. In the North, it was historically only speakers of Black English, though that's changing. There's trina, which
Again, Black people in the North kind of
Don't
hate
say
Black
finna.
people from the South, and there's words they don't use.
You'll say finna in the North if you're from the South.
Okay.
You will not say it if you're from the
If
North.
you're from the North, yeah.
So like my
Pascal,
neighbors were from the South, but their kids who were born in the North wouldn't say it unless they were making fun of their parents.
you and Pascal don't talk like me at all.
Really?
Finna and trina are words that neither one of you I've heard you guys use.
I say trina.
My screen froze.
That's what you get.
does
Wow.
not mean trying to. I'm going to say that again. Trina does not mean trying to.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
It literally does. Sir, are you just making this shit up as you go?
He's telling you, Jason. It does not
Trying
mean
to
trying to.
means flight.
Because we're bad.
What you trying to do means, are you going to catch a flight to Chicago on Delta?
It's a future modal that indicates intent, not attempt. That's how you can get a question like, when are you trying to leave? The same is the case for bouta. And there's further reduction of gun.
So if I say, when are you trying to leave? That's different than when are you trying to leave?
That's a little weird.
This
When
is
you
he's
tryna leave.
fucking stupid, man. And you know, if he was here, he'd give you this long, 5-minute. Well, no, what I meant is this is the past, present, indicative. Like, look, dude, you can take your indicatives and shove them so far up your fucking butthole that it comes out of your eye. Because if you ever look at me again and say this goofy shit, we're gonna fucking curb stomp the shit out of you. Okay? Is that what you want today, sir? Because we're gonna hand that out. We're gonna hand out so much street justice. We're finna. We about to beat the shit out of you.
Oh my
Gonna to
god.
go and own and up. And all of these have different gradations of meaning when it comes to time. And not only does Black English have more grammatical distinctions in terms of time,
Now this is why niggas is always late, right?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Could you imagine?
This is why niggas is late. There you go.
Is he trying to leave? What time you trying to leave?
But by the way, do you know originally part of diversity studies was the acceptance of tardy Black people?
Interesting.
time and aspect, but you can combine them. So you could have been gone there and you been could have gone there have different implications. Leave me a comment, by the way, if you think you can explain the difference. So what you have is a very
I don't even know the context of what you're saying, that dude. You could have been gone there. That usually means that, you did something, you're taking too long.
Right.
Right? You could have been done that. Fuck was you doing all day?
Sticking around.
Was you trying to figure out what this white man is saying?
I was about to figure it out.
I was about to figure it out, and then you showed up, and I was finna do a bunch of stuff, but
We beat to rap like he beat to lock.
but sometimes it bees like that, man.
very robust grammatical system, but one that's built in part by using slightly different versions of the same words to do very different things. This has a few repercussions. First, because the words all sound like words other English speakers use, a lot of people completely fail to recognize they're being used to do something different. You'll almost certainly see this in the comments on this video. People who don't speak Black English will assume they know what is meant and not realize that they're shoehorning a different grammatical construction into one they already feel familiar with. Second, that process combined with stereotypes just kind of erase that Black English exists. If you think I just talk lazy or have bad grammar, then you won't be attuned to the difference in meaning.
And what is the difference between this and some white person from Appalachia?
No different.
Right? No, really. White person from Southern Ohio.
Southern Ohio.
A white person from Northern Florida. Any motherfucker from Texas.
Florida's just different.
Like, seriously. Like, what is the difference? Why is this inherently black? He'll try to give you some histrionics about why.
Histrionics.
Meaning when I say he don't be over there. You might think a sentence like he ain't working there today, but he be working there. Is
What the fuck are you talking about? Who is this fucking magical nymph?
Yo, he be astral traveling, yo.
Who is this astral projecting ass nigga? Latarius, just stay still. We're trying to find you at work.
So wild. Oh my gosh.
Did Pascal log off? Is he still there? He logged off?
He's having problems with his thing. His
Isaac said, yeah, I see why Jason's mad. I just finally came over to see if people were still watching the show. Like, seriously. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It makes me angry.
Wait, rewind it a little bit because that was awesome.
Look at it. Look at this smug fuck.
is that they're shoehorning a different grammatical construction into one they already feel familiar with. Second, that process combined with stereotypes just kind of erase that black English exists. If you think I just talk lazy or have bad grammar, then you won't be attuned to the difference in meaning when I say he don't be over there. You might think a sentence like he ain't working there today, but he be working there is contradictory gibberish.
What does that mean? Who the fuck talks like that? Show me this person, and I guarantee he's got a little pull tab behind him, and a white guy is pulling some just weird fucking made up nigger shit.
That is so.
Or Norman Lear is doing some Cyrano de Bergerac shit with this black person that you found.
His hat on.
Like, seriously.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
Why?
Where is he?
He said he's in Harlem.
No, the dude who don't be at work.
Oh, the dude that don't be at work. That nigga is magic. He's like an X-Men.
He's Morph.
He's fucking the Morph, the guy they made just for the cartoon. Like, seriously. Who the fuck is this Negro? I'm starting to think you're looking for a fucking unicorn, or you're an idiot and someone's fucking with you. Have you guys seen Ladarius? Oh no, he don't be at work. Oh, so Ladarius isn't at work? Oh no, he be at work, but he just don't be at work. So is he working? Oh, Ladarius always working. That nigga work, nigga. He be working. It be like that.
In his next video, he's gonna decode the handshakes. How do those black guys do it? I found out.
A high five to the low five means that you're gay. 2 hits on the back means you're down for anything. A knuckle at the end means you're down for whatever.
Damn.
I want you guys to know, sometimes there's jokes that I get ready for this show. There's rants that Toussaint and I prepare.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of those days.
Nope.
I didn't know it was going to. Green means pay up, daddy. Can we do a video? How mad would you be if I did a video about handshakes and I just made up a bunch of gang shit? Like, hey, this means fucking it's on. Where I'm from, when you do this, it means you're ready for war. War.
Oh my God.
Like seriously. You can just say anything.
This is so funny.
You can say anything. Again, he's saying these are the rules. These are the rules. JC said, ass to ass. Again, people, this right here is a gang sign. Apparently in this guy's gang, this means it's fucking war. People that are listening to this on audio, you have to watch the video to see what I did. Ben Burgess needs to play handshake interpreter. Tucson, can you imagine if me and you just started making up handshakes and then Ben Burgess and his Ben Burgess voice was just giving the interpretation of what they meant? That would be funny to us. I think people would get offended.
That's hilarious. Roping Ben into our shenanigans.
Nuri Yang says pee war. But hey, this is serious, Nuri. This is that nigga. I'm all about that life, nigga. Ah! Dangle, 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 ah. It'd be like that. Ah.
Be like
Kushler said that's 100% a PP. If someone did that to me, I guess I hand sign a different time. PP is like this, Kushler. You gotta hit him with this. If you this
man.
means this. See, this is a whole different one. This means you're down to fuck right here.
That's crazy. Everybody's gonna stop what they're doing if you do that.
Of all the things I wouldn't mind if people yelled at me on the street, it would be this, like, "Hey Jay, nah." Okay.
You might not recognize that Oscar Gamble's famous quote, "They don't think it be that way, but it do," is both grammatically correct for that dialect and perfectly clear. They don't think it's usually that way, but it is usually that way. And lastly, because the first 2 points, people might get it wrong and not realize it. I mentioned this in my video on the word woke.
You've been getting it wrong the whole fucking time.
And not realizing.
It. You're still looking for Ladarius at work. That nigga he never worked there. He gave you a wrong number, Tyler.
Yep.
He told me I could find him here. He don't really be here. Meaning he's not here right now. No, we don't know him. Oh, that means that you do know him. Opposites. I know black talk. See? Ha 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 ha.
Just interrupting the flow in the break room.
Fuck this guy, dude.
and I've also mentioned this in interviews, but it's totally possible to get Black English wrong, and plenty of people do.
Like you.
Sometimes it's Russian bots attempting to stoke racial tensions in the US on Twitter.
Now it's Russian bots? I think it's just you. I think it's you on on fucking YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and fucking Twitch.
He's the Russian bot.
You're the Russian bot, dude. You kind of fucking suck. Sometimes Russian bots just say things wrong. Eyes don't. Who the fuck, man? Why do Russians give a shit to stoke racial hatred in the feed? Like, seriously.
Because they need to get votes for Trump from black men.
Like, it's been hard working in the fields today. I know sometimes it bees that way. The only man for me and my families is Donald the Trump.
Let me take off my do-rag to catch the dew.
When I'm trying to feed my family by robbing liquor stores and knocking up white women just for fun, ha 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 ha.
LMAO.
I say all you Negroes like me, a black person, a nigger, should go to the poll booth with the white folks and vote for Donald the Trump. I am not a Russian bot. Das vidanya.